Now, I love how there's a community of creators here on YouTube talking about Apple HomeKit. But today, I want to deconstruct something I recently realized and why the way you're thinking about HomeKit is wrong. Now, I'm guessing you're a fan of Apple products, and one of the reasons you probably like their stuff is something you might not have necessarily noticed, and that's the integration of
hardware and software.
Tight integration of our hardware and software.
Now, what you've probably heard me or other smart home YouTubers say is to start with Apple HomeKit and just find products that work with that. And for many people, that's a great place to start, but it leads to a common misunderstanding about what HomeKit actually is. Because if Apple is all about the integration of
hardware and software,
and they make HomeKit to talk to and control your smart home hardware, then why doesn't Apple make all the products you need for your smart home? And you've probably seen journalists and creators decree that Apple should make more smart home tech, and I see people in the comments of many of my videos complain that,
why doesn't Apple just make X product because it would just be way better?
I have news for you. It's not that simple. Apple has lots of money and lots of talented people working at the company, but everything about the company is built to ship computers and related software and services. They don't have experts in door locks, air conditioners, light switches, plumbing, air purifiers, sinks, washing machines, and, well, you get the idea. When you go into a hardware store, you'll see aisles upon aisles of different brands for different parts of your home. Each area has a unique set of institutional knowledge that takes time and iteration to develop. And while Apple already makes multi-room audio and a TV set-top box and maybe a couple more products in the future, they are only a part of what it takes to build a smart home. Amazon and Google have made more and more smart home products with their own brand, but they are still only covering a part of the general smart home needs. When each of these parts of your home starts to become more smart, the core problem doesn't change. It's not like suddenly magical software means that a tech company in California knows everything needed to build the best hot water heater known to man. What matters is the integration of that great software with reliable, good hardware. Apple makes a web browser, but they don't make all the websites you can browse from your Mac. That would be silly. In the same way, Apple makes HomeKit and the Home app as a way to control other things in your smart home from Apple devices. The integration of the hardware and software is the control HomeKit has over the radios and chipsets in your Apple devices talking to the smart home tech. Even if they rebrand it someday as Home OS, which is rumored, HomeKit will never be the one true operating system for your home. Nothing will be. When you think about an operating system, it has complete control over the hardware that makes up the phone or computer. Yes, I know there are drivers and firmware, but the integrations are a lot closer and tighter than the control HomeKit has over your home. HomeKit, Amazon Alexa, and Google Nest are more like smart assistants that help you by controlling other systems in your home. Now, it turns out that inside each of these little smart home devices is important firmware or software. The quality of this work is just as important as the hardware and its integration with Apple HomeKit. Smart home accessory manufacturers are who control and make the integration of hardware and software for each product, not Apple. The problem is that many smart home companies think that just by integrating with Apple HomeKit or Matter, then they have a good integration of their hardware and software that can be trusted to work reliably. And that is simply not true, and an easy place to get caught if you're getting into Apple smart home tech. Just because a product has a Works with HomeKit label on it or a Works with Matter label on it doesn't mean the company is invested in quality chipsets and quality software to make that product a good experience. Buying the least expensive Apple HomeKit products can often go against the idea of an Apple smart home. You'll quickly get to a place where you'll ask Siri to change something, and it will take ages to actually process your request, if it succeeds at all. Is this HomeKit to blame, or is it more likely a collection of subpar software in the 4 different brands of lighting you have in your living room? Now, I'm not saying to never mix brands, and I'm not saying that all inexpensive products are bad, but there's a spectrum here. And if you go too far into buying whatever cheap brand is on sale that week and mixing all of them in every room, you're tempting fate with an unreliable smart home. So where do you go from here? A side note that as a YouTuber trying to advise you about smart home tech, I'm always going to try different brands and mix things more than I would if I wasn't trying to tell you about the latest and greatest smart home tech. I think in general, it's best to stop thinking one company and one app will be the only thing you need to run your smart home. After some inevitable trial and error, I think you'll land on 1 to 3 brands for a particular area of your smart home, like lighting or home security. When looking at these brands, don't just look at the hardware, but look for attention to detail in their software that shows that they care about the whole experience and the integration of their hardware and software. For example, most of my smart lighting in my house now is from either Lutron Caseta or Philips Hue. It doesn't mean that all other lighting is terrible, but I see both of those companies as consistently building quality experiences that can also talk to Apple HomeKit, so I can control them with my Apple devices. And sometimes this means venturing a little outside Apple HomeKit. I ultimately decided to dump Abode as my security system in favor of Ring, and I made a video all about that linked somewhere here on the screen. This is the same reason I chose Ubiquiti for my home networking. They don't support HomeKit router, but they do have quality software that continues to get updates over time and gives a power user like myself some advanced Wi-Fi functionality. Now, from my experience, the same quality of software can be found in my other favorite networking product, Eero, which makes Wi-Fi easy for anyone to set up. I like Sonos because they work hard to have a good software experience as well. I have their speakers wirelessly linked for my TV surround, and it's been flawless for almost 2 years now. I also use them as AirPlay 2 speakers combined with my HomePods and Apple Music, and that all works great. Now, what about Thread? I'm still very bullish on Thread, and companies like Eve and Nanoleaf are creating great integrations of hardware and software with Thread, and I continue to use their products on a daily basis. But Thread is a foundational technology. I'm sure we'll see poor implementations of Thread, which doesn't mean Thread is bad, just that specific products or companies are struggling to use it well. If there's one thing I want you to remember from this video, it's that you need to think about the software in each part of your smart home and each accessory as its own place where you need quality products. HomeKit is not an operating system for your home that can paint over the problems of junky integrations of hardware and software. Now, if you want to find out more about great products that integrate hardware and software, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.